Hello grade 5, I hope you're doing fine. In this video we will talk about lesson 2, the dynasties of ancient Egypt. In lesson 1 we discussed the early life of the ancient Egyptians and that the Nile River was a very important resource for them, as all of their life started at the Nile Delta and the Nile Valley. In lesson 2 we will learn more about the rulers, the kings, and how did their life improved after that, and Egypt became one of the most strong empires in the world. The early period. The early period of ancient Egyptian history includes dynasties 1 and 2. During this time or even earlier, the Egyptians developed irrigation systems and invented plows pulled by animals. As you can see here in the picture, ancient Egyptians were very good farmers, and they know how to domesticate and use animals for helping them with farming the crops and the soil. And they also invented a plow, as you can see in the second picture. This is a plow, which is a machine pulled by animals to bring the water from the river into the field, which was a very improved invention at this time. Hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics was the ancient Egyptian official language, and they wanted to write their history. They wanted all the people to know about what are the things they have done, what were the rulers, their life, everything. So in order to write, they have to have a language first. That's when they invented the hieroglyphics. They put a symbol or a picture for each word, and when they put them together you can read the whole word or the whole sentence. So what is hieroglyphics? Hieroglyphics is a writing that uses pictures to stand for sounds, words, or ideas. And the early Egyptian hieroglyphics had more than 700 pictures. In their language it has more than 700 pictures. Some pictures stands for sounds, like a, ba, ka, and some pictures stand for words like bird, animal, cow, and so on. In the beginning, as we can see in the picture, they used to write on tombs, on stones, on statues, but they wanted to have something that will last more and everyone could read it. So that's when they invented the papyrus. The papyrus was originally a plant that grew around the Nile Valley, and they take this plant and made the papyrus paper from this. The papyrus is a paper-like material they made from the papyrus plants of the Nile Valley. We can say it's papyrus or papyrus. Egyptians wrote on papyrus instead of a stone. As you can see in the picture, they took this plant, cut it, make it dry out in the sun, and made this papyrus from the plant and write on it everything. The dynasties. In the lesson 1 we learned what is a dynasty, and that a dynasty is a series of rulers who belong to the same family. This is how Egypt was ruled. Egypt was ruled by a dynasty or by a family, and when this family is finished, another dynasty begins. Historians divided Egypt's dynasties into 3 periods, which is the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom. Let's talk first about the Old Kingdom. The Old Kingdom was known as the Age of the Pyramids. This is a very important point. Why is it known as the Age of the Pyramids? Because this is the time when the ancient Egyptians developed the technology to build the largest stone structures in the world, the pyramids. This was the time when ancient Egyptians built pyramids. And it's until now, you can see the pyramids in Giza, and actually it's still the largest stone structure in the world. And until now, no one know how did they build it and from what material and so on. What is a pyramid? A pyramid is originally, it has a square base and usually has triangular sides that come to a point at the top. The Egyptians built pyramids as tombs for their rulers. Let's take a minute here and ask a question. Why did the ancient Egyptians build pyramids? Do they build it as a historic place for people to visit? Of course not. Originally, they built the pyramids as tombs because they believed in the afterlife. And the rulers of ancient Egypt, they were so memorized like the kings. So they wanted everyone to memorize them. They wanted to do something that no one has ever done in the world. So they built a pyramid for themselves to be buried in. And they believed in the afterlife. They used to take everything with them in the tomb or in the pyramid. Clothes, food, gold, furniture. They take everything with them because they believed in the afterlife. So why did the ancient Egyptians build pyramids? They built it as tombs for their rulers. The first pyramid. The first pyramid is not the one we see in Giza when we go visit the pyramids. No. The first pyramids was designed by the architect Imhotep, and Imhotep was one of the most skillful architects in ancient Egypt. He designed the first Egyptian pyramid as a tomb for King Khufu. As you can see here in the picture, this is the picture of the pyramid of King Khufu. And then the Great Pyramid was built in Giza. And it was built exactly during Dynasty 4. There were 3 pyramids, the biggest one for King Khufu, and the other 2 was for King Khafra and Menkaura. The Great Pyramid was built for King Khufu by workers who were mostly farmers. Farmers were the people who built the pyramids, and a lot of them died while building this huge structure. The Old Kingdom lasted until Dynasty 6 ended. So how did the Old Kingdom last? It lasted from Dynasty 1 till Dynasty 6. Now let's talk about the Middle Kingdom. The Middle Kingdom was the start of the 50-year rule of King Mentuhotep II. King Mentuhotep II was a very popular person at this time because he brought back Egypt's economic and cultural glory. From Dynasty 6 to Dynasty 10, Egypt was not stable at all. A lot of wars, a lot of chaos and a mess, until King Mentuhotep came. He founded Dynasty 11 and he ruled for 50 years. He returned the authority back to the central government, and this brought back Egypt's economic and cultural glory. And he didn't even stop at this. He actually made Egypt a larger area of land. He began to conquer another lands to take it to be part of Egypt. During the region of Mentuhotep II, Egypt began to expand its territory beyond the Nile Valley. The Egyptians under Mentuhotep II conquered parts of Libya to the west, Nubia to the south, and Sinai to the east. So, in the beginning it was only Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt, until Mentuhotep conquered Sinai here, and he also conquered Libya, and also Nubia. Nubia is now Sudan, but in the past it was called Nubia and Kush. So he didn't even stop here. He started to conquer another lands to make it part of Egypt, until Egypt became one of the strongest empire in the whole world at this time. Mentuhotep Dynasty. Mentuhotep II was followed by his son Mentuhotep III, and then by his grandson Mentuhotep IV. Both continued to rule from Thebes to build and expand Egypt. At this time, during the Mentuhotep Dynasty, Egypt expanded a lot than before. This is the end of this lesson. Thank you for listening.